Something seriously strange just happened at Tesla. Tesla laid off the entire supercharging team. Is Tesla not going to build out any more superchargers? Let's dive into this whole story and all of today's Tesla stock news. Elon Musk laid off more Tesla senior executives in a fresh job cut. 2 senior executives and hundreds of more employees. One of them, Rebecca Tanucci, senior director of the electric vehicle maker Supercharger business. We saw her presentation during the Tesla Investor Day. Also, head of the new vehicles program will be no longer with Tesla today. So they are not leaving Tesla, they are being laid off. And Elon Musk plans to dismiss everyone working for these 2 executives, including the roughly 500 employees who work in the Supercharger group, the information reported. It's not clear how many employees worked for the other executive. And Tesla's public policy team, which was led by former executive Rohan Patel, will also be dissolved, the report said. Elon writes, hopefully these actions are making it clear that we need to be absolutely hardcore about headcount and cost reduction. While some executive staff are taking this seriously, most are not yet doing so. It almost sounds like the restructuring is just beginning. Now, we did see Elon Musk go to China and all of a sudden, bam, FSD is moving forward in China. And this is without Tesla's public policy team. So, yeah. And if you like what Elon Musk just did in China yesterday, pushing the stock 15% higher in a single day, click the like button. Anyway, I think it's becoming much clearer now why Elon Musk did not go to India. Early rumors before the layoffs started suggested that Tesla could lay off about 20% of its workforce, and looking at this direction right now, that could be actually happening. Only a few people will be reassigned from that 500-person charging team to other departments within Tesla. By the way, Rebecca Tanucci was responsible for getting other manufacturers to adopt Tesla's NACS, which was a pretty big deal, so it's surprising to see Elon Musk letting her go. So what's going on? Is Tesla going to stop deploying new superchargers? Well, there is an email that states that Tesla will continue to build out some new superchargers and will finish those under construction, but clearly something is going to change. But laying off Director of Vehicle Programs and New Product Initiatives, who was Program Manager for the Model S, 3, and Y, it perhaps signals that Elon Musk thinks that the progress made towards new products has not been good enough. And I would expect the stock market to not be happy with Tesla's stock because of this. This could have also happened because of the disagreement on Tesla's product strategy. Elon Musk maybe wanted to focus more on robotaxi and he didn't. However, in an email, Elon Musk stated that he wants Tesla to be absolutely hardcore about the headcount reduction, saying that executives whose subordinates don't obviously pass the excellent, necessary, and trustworthy test would find themselves relieved of duty as well. So maybe this was the main reason why they were laid off. They did not want to lay off anyone or not enough people from their teams. There are other layoffs happening in other companies as well, though. Electric has a source. It may not be accurate, but the rumor is another 5% of Tesla's staff could be laid off, including executives and longtime employees dating back to their Roadster days. Yeah, so I'm expecting more layoffs to come. Just like to me, to James, it's also surprising that the charging team has been canned. Supposedly the whole team, unless they are going in a different direction. Maybe they are planning on ramping down Tesla built and owned operated superchargers and moving to more a partnership model whereby they sell a supercharger license to businesses and let the businesses pay to build and operate the superchargers and profit from the charging sessions. However, there's another take. It's unlikely that the entire charging team is only 500 people. My theory, says Warren, only a theory, is that her team is distinct from the Supercharger team and there were big redundancies. When she spoke at Investor Day, she spoke more about level 2 charging and hinted at inductive charging. Her LinkedIn said she was like the senior vice president for charging infrastructure, not supercharging. Is it possible that the supercharging team is one team and then she was on a different team? Something is not really adding up here. Here's her LinkedIn profile. Clearly, there is a difference between supercharging, of which she was a manager before. Then she moved up to charging infrastructure. She was a director, and then she moved to being a senior director of charging infrastructure. So I'm not so sure if Warren is right here, because clearly there's a difference between supercharging, and she did lead that part of Tesla's team before. I'm not 100% sure if supercharging is under charging infrastructure. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I would think it is, but just laying out the whole whole team, if that's a whole team of supercharging a Tesla, that's just weird. Something just doesn't add up. There's also the argument that this transition could have been done more smoothly. There's a general feeling that Elon came in like an emotionless wrecking ball over the last few weeks, but it is kind of his style and usually works out for the best. It does, however, suck for those who are impacted. Troy's take is maybe Elon wants to reduce costs because he wants to reduce prices. However, even with more price cuts, Troy doesn't see Tesla reaching 1.8 million units this year. Having been a Tesla stock investor for a while now, I learned that when I see something that just doesn't add up at all, there's always a pretty good reason behind it. I expect that Tesla has a way to continue expanding its supercharging network, and we are going to hear about it. In the meantime, it's a bit confusing, but given Tesla's past track record, I feel good. I'm sure Elon has a plan for superchargers going forward. Tesla has secured a new $650 million contract to build the largest battery energy storage in Australia, over twice the size of the system pictured here. And of course, Stephen Mark Ryan says this is massive news. The project's first stage is already under construction. A total of 572 Tesla Megapacks will be used, and when complete, the batteries will have the ability to charge and discharge 20% of the average demand in Western Australia's main grid. So this is definitely fairly big news, considering that despite Tesla still ramping the Lathrop factory, Tesla's energy gross margins reached all-time highs recently, which by the way significantly exceed automotive gross margins. We also know that Tesla is building a Megapack factory in Shanghai, unlikely because this is located in Australia. Maybe this will be supplied from China, although it will still take a while to build out the factory out there, so I'm not sure if Ashley James is going to be right here about this one. I think Lathrop has a pretty decent chance of supplying this. The plan is to get this place operating by the end of this year, but after looking into this more, I think James is actually going to be right, because the second stage is expected to be operational in Q4 of 2025, and by then the Megapack factory in China should be up and running, and mass production in Shanghai should start in Q1 of 2025, so there would be plenty of time for Tesla to supply that project in Australia from China. And here's some good news. 14,800 new Teslas were insured in China last week. All of the previous weeks so far this quarter were not good compared to the previous year in the same quarter, but this week has changed that a little bit. This is actually quite better than any week before. Year over year, this definitely beats Q2 last year. However, if you look at the whole quarter so far, this is the previous year and this is the current year. You can see that we are still quite behind the previous year, but if this trend continues, we can certainly beat the previous year. Gary agrees it's a solid week for China. James still thinks that the quarter is trending to about 420,000 deliveries so far. Keep in mind though that customers right now in China are getting a better deal compared to before, so that also reflects in the sales numbers. Tesla FSD Supervised V12.3.6 is currently rolling out to more owners in North America. I actually just got an update overnight, but I think mine is V12.3.5, so I don't think I have this one yet. Oh, but Farzad is downloading it already, so maybe I have it. This update includes auto park with high fidelity park assist, and it's about 6% of the fleet, so not insignificant. Even people with free trials are getting this update. So right now there are some people that are getting this newer version and some that are still getting this slightly older version. Omar thinks that Tesla is A/B testing to figure out which one is better, so newer is not necessarily better. Oh, and this is pretty good news. In Korea, there's a rumor that Tesla is about to introduce FSD. That's definitely bullish, but for that to be reflected in the stock price, it actually needs to be released. I don't think it can be just a rumor. So yesterday, Tesla's stock closed 15.3% higher, which is the single largest increase for Tesla stock in the last 3 years in one single day. And like I pointed out yesterday, there was a higher chance of Tesla stock going down than up. However, if it did go up, there was a bigger chance that the gains would be higher than the losses. However, I am not a trader, so I did not follow through with that. And some are saying that Tesla stock is not doing great today because Jim Cramer got bullish about Tesla stock. Jim Cramer says he is doing something no American CEO can do. Just get on a plane and make a deal with a leader of a country that our government isn't fond of. Plenty of people shorted the stock, they failed. The stock can keep running until the shorts are all crushed. And this is not a rumor, this is confirmed. This is from the information. Tesla has obtained permission to begin testing FSD supervised in China. And there is an advanced driving assistance map submitted by Baidu for navigation. And it seems like this whole thing is done between Baidu and Tesla. The collaboration between these two companies is supposedly exclusive and in-depth. And actually starting from May 1st, Baidu Maps data for the advanced driving assistance industry will be fully released. So I assume this includes Tesla. Someone said that this whole thing yesterday about FSD from China, there was already a hint about it because the robotaxi is going to come out on August 8th, which is a lucky number in China. Elon explains though, I did partly pick it because August 8th is a lucky number in China. Also, the birthday of my triplets who are now 17. I agree with Steven's conclusion here. Steven says, me for the last 1690 days in a row, here are 69 rabbits in Tesla's hat that they will pull out in the future, which most investors are ignoring. But analysts, managers, and institutional investors say there are no rabbits. We are neutral or bearish and trimming or exiting Tesla stock. Here's a conclusion I agree with. Tesla's known rabbits, never mind the unknown rabbits in the hat, equal one of the reasons I don't try and time the market. I just buy when I have money. And so imagine what happens when people realize robotaxis are actually happening and FSD licensing is actually happening. I think at this point, FSD licensing is rather obvious in the long term, and that's going to start another massive Tesla stock rally, I believe, when that starts happening. Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas has a few rather bullish things to say about FSD. I've been using FSD v12.3 heavily over the past few weeks. This past Sunday, I used it for more than 70 miles of driving between kids' soccer and lacrosse games in Westchester County, New York. I reckon I had FSD engaged for easily 90% of the day's driving. The system is a pleasure to use and reduces my overall fatigue level. Yeah, yesterday I went for roughly a 30-minute drive, not downtown, so it's not really a difficult drive, but I arrived just a bit more relaxed. There's still a long way to go to remove the steering wheel, in my opinion, but transparency with the safety data with third-party validation will be a critical milestone for advancing deployment. Yeah, the moment Tesla starts using a third party to validate the safety, I think that will be a strong bullish signal, although Adam Jonas is sort of being a third party here. Tesla gave Japanese news team NHK World exclusive access to the Cybertruck production line. Let's take a look.
The futuristic features of the Cybertruck improve production efficiency. The use of stainless steel means no coating procedure. Von Holtzhausen stresses that designers and engineers working together on production gives Tesla an edge.
Since I've joined Tesla, we've always had designers and engineers working in the same space. We always talk with our designers to really kind of think through the ideas that they come up with as if they were an engineer. And we always try to show the engineers the process of design. And I think that's a strength because the communication path is incredibly quick.
More earnings reports are coming out. Volvo turns out to be burning a lot of cash. And this is quite a historical moment, but in Q1 2024, Volvo's global average battery electric vehicle selling price drops below that of Volvo's non-BEVs for the first time. This is inevitable. This is going to start happening a lot in the future. And once that trend starts and it becomes cheaper to just buy a vehicle that's fully electric from the get-go and is equal in size to a gas-powered vehicle, the EV transition will accelerate. And here's Volkswagen as well. Negative free cash flow. Lotus, which is transitioning to BEVs, is also reporting massive cash burning. Dylan Loomis from Electrified has some thoughts after yesterday's big run of Tesla's stock. Never sell Tesla after a 3-year consolidation period. Never sell Tesla before robotaxis launch. Don't doubt Elon Musk. He makes the impossible merely late. Don't believe everything you read. Just because someone has an audience or runs a fund doesn't mean they get everything right. It doesn't matter how convicted you are. You don't know what the market is going to do in the short term. Financials matter in the long term, but can be overruled in the short term. Tesla is 100% an AI company, one of the best in the world, and people are slowly waking up to that fact. This is still just the warm-up from a long-term perspective. Executives leaving Tesla and selling shares does not mean it's the end of Tesla, like we just saw with Drew Baglino. Elon is not bad because he never left. Tesla is the most exciting company on earth, and it's not particularly close. And he's fully on board with never listening to Ross Gerber. Dylan still enjoys following Meet Kevin and Gary Black, despite some bad public misses as of late. Dylan on April 23rd also posted this: if I wasn't married, I would sell my house and buy Tesla stock. So far, he would have been up already quite a bit. I think Jason is right here. If you fumble hard with Tesla stock, you are probably fumbling every other stock you're holding as well. Some people just aren't cut out to manage capital. That's okay. Good investors primarily see themselves as business builders, not money makers. My mind has always been on the business and the opportunity, not the money. The money just follows. Remember that before, you could have had Tesla stock from here until here, so for about 5 years or more like 6 years maybe, and you would have actually lost money. Just remember that. But those that did not sell were greatly rewarded eventually. And it is now time to vote. If you got Tesla stock in your Robinhood account, you can go in and you can actually vote now. I appreciate everyone who is voting. If you own Tesla stock in your Questrade account, you can vote now as well. If you haven't received anything, if you are with a different broker or institution, you should receive something over the next few days. And if you are not in the US, you can still vote. For example, someone from the UK is still able to vote via free trade. And if you are not sure how to vote, simply contact your institution and they should give you instructions. We got some news from Europe. In Europe, Germany specifically, Tesla has changed the image in the software upgrade tab in the app. It now shows a visualization of FSD. Previously, it was just enhanced autopilot, so that's good. It's a hint that FSD is coming to Europe. I'm not sure about the time frame though. We know that Xiaomi has produced over 10,000 SU7s by now, but there are some issues with the quality. This is one car having this issue, and here's another one having that exact same issue. So this does seem to be somewhat widespread perhaps, but these are just two vehicles. This does take panel gaps to a whole new level. It is probably an easy fix, but because it is a completely new auto manufacturer, I wouldn't buy that vehicle because I would be thinking, well, if you cannot get this relatively simple thing right and just falling apart, aren't there bigger defects inside the vehicle too that would compromise my safety potentially? Probably not, hopefully not, but I would just have that concern personally. So I would just get a Tesla. Yesterday, NHTSA finalized a rule that would require automatic emergency braking systems on all passenger cars and light trucks by 2029. Now, if you are thinking that eventually FSD will be mandatory in all cars, I think you are not mistaken. It doesn't necessarily mean that immediately you will no longer be able to drive. I just think it's going to be there as a safety feature. If you are about to get into an accident, the car will just take over. Probably. It will be deployed as a safety feature, I think. And then eventually, at least in some jurisdictions, I think, but this is many years from now, many years from now, driving might become illegal. But that's a long time from now. Troy already saw today's China numbers, and based on current trends, Tesla is expected to deliver fewer cars this year than the previous year. This is mainly due to a drop in sales in China, driven by increased competition and a reduction in Model 3 sales in the US because the Model 3 already lost the $7,500 tax credit this year. Additionally, 3 or 4 quarters this year are likely to show negative year-over-year delivery growth. This should become clearer once we get the Q2 delivery numbers on July 2nd. James agrees with Troy. I don't see how Tesla grows year-over-year and have no clue why Elon would say as much. But then again, he says a lot of stuff. And Troy thinks it's not even a close call. We are not going to be anywhere near 1.8 million at the end of this year. The gap will be huge after just 2 quarters. So Troy is betting against Elon Musk. You can see delivery estimates here. The latest one was as of April 16th. So Troy is under 1.75 million. I am, however, expecting a few more unexpected moves from Elon Musk in the coming months, and this year certainly. Tesla's culture definitely is getting a shock to its system in the last few days. Large organizational shifts, not unusual in the company's history, but first time it's been done at this size and scale. A Tesla Semi was spotted being used by another customer that is not Pepsi. Tesla is testing a Tesla Semi with another customer who is one of the largest food distributors in the US. In 2017, that company announced that they reserved 50 trucks from Tesla. This is a hint that Tesla is indeed making some progress with a Semi right now. And to make things stranger, Elon Musk no longer follows Sawyer Merritt as well as Omar. Instead, Elon started following Caitlyn Jenner. However, Elon still follows multiple Tesla accounts, for example, Dirty Tesla, James Dowma, and I'm sure there's more, but after the first 100 or so people, somehow Twitter or X is not showing any more people that Elon Musk is following. That's it for today's video. Make sure to click the like button so that we can make sure that there's no shadow ban on this channel. Here's another video from my other channel showing that it's only getting about half of the views it would normally get because my videos are only shown to about 50% of the regular viewers in the first few days. And then after the first 3 days, it does push it out a little bit more, but because it's no longer news, it's old, no one's interested. So I appreciate everyone clicking the like button. That really helps. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt Posius, and I will see you back in tomorrow's episode.